What's going on, guys? Sean Nalawani here, SeanNal.com, BodyTransformationTruth.com, and in this video here, I'm going to be giving you an honest, no BS review of the Shredz men's supplement line. And keep in mind that there is overlap between the men's and the women's lines if you're watching this and you are female. Shredz has become a hugely popular company over the last year or two, mainly because of all the marketing that they've done, mostly through Instagram. However, most of the Shredz reviews that you'll find out there are honestly not very well put together at all. They're not accurate, they're not science-based, and a lot of them are heavily biased as well because they're put out by people who have a vested interest in you buying the products. I'm not going to go into any details here on the whole Shredz controversy that's been going on with the Photoshop pictures and the fake transformation contests and the natty or not status of some of their athletes. That's not what this video is about. This is just going to be an honest, objective look at their actual supplement line based on the ingredients they use, the dosages, and the cost. I've been researching fitness supplementation for over 15 years now. I'm not affiliated with any supplement companies, and my only goal is to give you the honest facts so that you can make the smartest and most cost-effective decisions for your fitness program. Simple as that. So first up is their protein powder. There's nothing really fancy here. This is just a standard tub of whey concentrate and whey isolate, and based on the label, it doesn't look like it's been amino spiked using any cheap fillers, so that's a good thing, assuming the label is accurate. You get 23 grams of protein per 30 gram scoop, 2.5 carbs, 1.5 fat. Pretty standard, like I said, so no issue with the product itself. However, the only problem here in my view is just the price. If you're using protein powder consistently as part of your diet, then there's no real reason to be buying it in small 2-pound tubs like this because the cost per serving for that is really high in comparison to just buying a bigger 5-pound tub. With Shredz whey protein, you're paying $40 for 30 servings, which is $1.33 per serving, whereas if you bought, for example, a 5-pound tub of Optimum Nutrition whey, which is the one that I use, very popular, widely used brand, you'll be paying about 75 cents per serving, which is quite a bit less. To put that in perspective, if you were to use 2 scoops of protein powder a day, then you'd save over $400 a year just from that alone. And this is just one example, and I'll link my free supplement guide in the description box below, which includes all of my recommended protein powders that are high quality and cost effective as well. So the Shredz whey protein itself isn't bad, but it's just pretty expensive per serving in comparison to other available options. Next up is the Shredz Alpha Testosterone, which is their natural testosterone booster. I've talked about this many times in the past, but the fact is that natural, over-the-counter testosterone boosters are not going to be effective for the purpose of improving muscle growth or fat loss. In order to actually gain any noticeable muscle size and strength from these types of products, your test levels would have to be elevated by a very high percentage and sustained over time. And there isn't a single natural supplement out there that's actually going to do that for you. There's just no good research to back that up. Some ingredients can be useful for improving libido, so if that's a concern for you, then they might be worth looking into. But if your goal is to gain more muscle and lose more fat, then I definitely don't recommend bothering with any natural testosterone boosters. And aside from that, the Shredz product is based off of a proprietary blend anyway, which is a really common technique that supplement companies use as a way to underdose their products and save on costs. I'm not definitively saying that Shredz is doing that, but that's what proprietary blends are pretty much always used for in this industry. Basically, like you can see here, they list off a bunch of different ingredients and give you the total amount for all of them combined, but not the individual dosages per ingredient. And this makes the label look great because it includes so many recognizable ingredients, but what it does is allow the company to just sprinkle in small amounts of some or all of them as a way to save on costs because they know that the average person is really just responding to the marketing behind the product and ultimately won't know the difference. And then in terms of the actual formula, the first ingredient here is Spanish pellitory, which is a newer compound that only has rat research behind it as far as I know. And the second ingredient is maca, which is effective for boosting libido, but the proper dosage for maca for most guys is already higher than the amount of the entire blend of all 5 ingredients combined. So there's really no point in going further on this one. It's not going to boost testosterone levels into any sort of muscle building range. It's underdosed, And it also costs $60 a bottle, which is extremely expensive for this type of product as well. If you really wanted to waste your money on a natural test booster, then there are plenty of other way cheaper options out there that are better formulated than this as well. Next up is their creatine product, which is a combination of magnesium creatine chelate and then another proprietary blend with beta-alanine as the main ingredient. First off, like I've said a million times before, there's no research out there that shows any form of creatine to be more effective than basic creatine monohydrate. And the reason companies market these new and improved forms of creatine is because they sound a lot more exciting than basic creatine monohydrate does, and as a result they can charge way more money for it. Creatine monohydrate is the most researched sports supplement in the world. It has an extremely high absorption rate in humans. It fully saturates the muscles after 2 or 3 weeks of use, and it has no side effects in otherwise healthy people when used properly. It's not that the creatine they're using here is necessarily bad, but there's just no reason to pay multiple times the cost when you can get all the benefits you need just by using monohydrate instead. As for the beta-alanine, the proprietary blend here gives you 2.2 grams for beta-alanine, L-arginine, and vanadyl sulfate combined, when the proper dose for beta-alanine alone is a minimum of 3.2 grams. So you can already see that this is underdosed, which backs up what I said earlier about proprietary blends being used for that purpose. And then on top of that, vanadyl sulfate and L-arginine are useless ingredients anyway when it comes to muscle growth and training performance. So basically, you're paying $50 a bottle for overpriced creatine and underdosed beta-alanine. What you could do instead is just buy pure creatine monohydrate on its own, which will cost about 3 cents per gram, beta-alanine on its own for 6 cents a gram, and then just take them at their proper dose, and you'll pay about $10 a month instead of $50 and get even better results. Next up is the Shredz Fat Burner Max. Once again, all of the ingredient dosages are hidden behind a proprietary blend, surprise, surprise. So you really have no clue what you're actually getting here, or more accurately, what you're probably not getting. The main ingredient is African mango seed, which was a heavily marketed weight loss miracle a couple years back, but has faded out since then. And it's normally used as an appetite suppressant that's taken before meals. So I really don't know why they use that as the main ingredient in a pre-workout fat burner. That really doesn't make sense. But of course, all you have to do with any fat burner is just throw in some caffeine, because that way, no matter what else is included or how ineffective it might be, or how underdosed it might be, people are going to take the product, they're going to feel the energy boost, and then assume that the product is effective because of that. The reality is that basic caffeine anhydrous is the driving force behind pretty much every single pre-workout product, fat burner, and energy drink out there. And it is effective, but that doesn't mean you need to pay $75 a bottle for it, which is the cost of the Shredz Fat Burner. Now, I'm not going to say that $75 a bottle is an absolutely insane, borderline criminal price for a fat burner, but yeah, so honestly, it's impossible to review this fat burner any further because you have no idea what you're actually taking since all the dosages are hidden. I wonder why. And weighing off that fact along with the ingredient profile and the $75 per bottle price, I think the choice is pretty obvious here. Next up is their BCAA plus glutamine. Now, I know a lot of people out there do use BCAAs as well as glutamine and swear by them, but I personally don't think they're necessary for the average trainee, because if you're getting a sufficient amount of total dietary protein each day, then you're already getting a very high amount of BCAAs and glutamine just from that alone. And I've done detailed posts on this in the past outlining the science behind why I don't think they're necessary, and I'll link them in the description box below if you want more information on that. But regardless, even if you do supplement with BCAAs and glutamine and you want to continue using them, you can still get it for way cheaper than what Shredz is charging. The price for this one here is $45 for 30 servings with 6 grams of BCAAs and 2 grams of glutamine, whereas instead you could just go with the Extend product from Scivation, which is a pretty popular one that you might be familiar with, because that actually gives you slightly more BCAAs and slightly more glutamine per serving, and it's $24 for 30 servings rather than $45. Again, I still wouldn't recommend spending your money on BCAAs and glutamine, but if you're going to, Shredz is still much more expensive, almost double the cost of other comparable products. Lastly, and I'll keep this one really quick, is their Rebuild formula, which is essentially just a ZMA product. I'm not opposed to zinc or magnesium supplementation because a lot of hard training lifters can have lower levels, but the problem with Shredz is that they're using magnesium oxide, which is well known to be the cheapest and lowest quality form of magnesium you can get. So they save money and you get a product that your body can hardly even absorb. There are plenty of brands out there using higher quality forms like magnesium citrate, gluconate, or diglycinate. And in keeping with the theme here, Shredz product is hugely overpriced anyway at $45 for 30 servings. So that covers everything, guys. I think it's probably pretty obvious what my opinion is of Shredz supplements by this point without me having to explicitly say it. So I'll just leave it at that. And you can take the information here and decide for yourself what you'd like to do. The reality is that supplements only play a very minor role in any muscle building or fat burning program. Getting real results primarily comes down to proper training and proper nutrition, and only a very small handful of supplements out there are worth investing in. And even then, the results are still going to be modest. And you can download my free fitness supplementation guide using the link in the description box below. So thanks for watching, guys. I really hope this was helpful. If you enjoy this science-based, no BS approach to fitness and you want to learn how to build muscle and lose fat without any gimmicks or hype, then you can visit bodytransformationtruth.com by clicking here or using the link in the description box below to access my complete body transformation blueprint. You can follow me on social media here. The official website is SeanNell.com, and feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you did enjoy the video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon.